welcome back. Now, you'll know our next guest from such crime thrillers as 56 Days, The Liar's Girl and The Nothing Man. Needless to say, she loves a good mystery.
As I just said, she creeps the crap out of me in the best possible way. Catherine Ryan Howard, hello, how are you?
I'm very good, how are you?
Do you like being told that you creep the crap out of people?
I love it.
Love it.
Well, you know you're doing the job.
I want to give
you're
people
doing the job,
nightmares.
I want to give you nightmares because we got to get straight into it. The brand new book.
Do you notice I'm matching?
Oh, look at you. Cork woman not wearing red. I'm doing the red for all the Cork people today. Tell us about the latest book, Burn After Reading.
So Burn After Reading is about a ghostwriter who has to go to Florida, to this creepy town, as you said, to work on the memoir of a man that most people believe has killed his wife. He says he's innocent and he wants to tell his side of the story. So they're writing this book, but Emily, the ghostwriter, it's her first ghostwriting gig. She's very inexperienced and she also might be hiding some secrets of her own, dum-dum-dum, etc.
Look at the crap, it's creeped.
I love it. You really did. Like, oh my, it's one of those things
You
where
read it?
Oh, yeah. At 4 o'clock in the morning, Jobby, like coming to work, you still couldn't put the book down. This always happens. It does always happen with your books, but you have drawn inspiration from a real life creepy murder.
Well, I don't like using the word inspiration because inspiration is positive. It has like positive connotations. But I definitely got the idea while I was watching the 7-hour-long, but it's totally worth the commitment, documentary OJ Made in America. So
yes, that was brilliant.
It's amazing. Won an Oscar. So at the very end of that, there's a brief interview with OJ's ghostwriter. So in 2004, for reasons that none of us can understand, he signed a book deal to hypothetically confess. So he was going to write what happened that night if he had murdered those two people, Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman. But he didn't, because he's still maintaining his innocence. And that was the book. It was called If I Did It. Such a strange and inexplicable project, but I couldn't get the idea out of my head of a ghostwriter like locked in a room with a man that they both know has done possibly this thing. But I wanted someone whose guilt wasn't as cut and dry, because there's no drama when you know what he did. And I thought, well, what if the ghostwriter is inexperienced? What if she's a woman? What if it's set in a town in Florida that I like to go on holidays to so I can expense some of those trips? And that's how we get to Burn After Reading.
Well, it sounds like a kick-ass concept, the story as a whole. But like this town is this picturesque town. They filmed, was it The Truman Show?
Yeah, so there's 3 towns designed by the same firm of architects, and Seaside is where The Truman Show was filmed. That's the nice one, that's where we go on holidays. But down the road, there's a couple of others, and one of them is like an enclave for like celebrities on holidays and things. So it's a town that most of the year seems to have absolutely no one in it, and all the masonry is bright white. So I was walking around this town early on a November morning, a full town, like shops are open and everything, but there's no one there. There's no one there.
A ghost town for a ghost writer. So,
very good.
Thanks. You can use that in your next one. Did you go on your own, like to explore?
I did. Yeah. So I went twice. The second time I rented a car about 8 weeks after I got my license, so that was quite the adventure. Yeah. But yeah, I went on my own. Like, I love it there. I was obsessed with Seaside ever since I, first of all, saw The Truman Show and then found out that the town was real.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to get to and it is quite expensive because there's no hotel. You stay in one of the houses. You have to rent one of the houses.
But that's a business expense. It's fine.
Yeah, business.
Why the book? Why the book?
Buy the book.
To pay off those bills.
There was research done, like, absolutely, you know. So I wanted to go, but I didn't want to bring anyone with me because I didn't want anyone giving out that it was creepy or weird or over. You know, I wanted to enjoy it. Like, it's like when you go to Disney with someone who's not into Disney. It's no fun for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
You got to do it because it is one thing that you really do evoke, because we go in the book between Ireland, a place that you can kind of, we know that place, that's grand, to this very out-of-body experience, perfect town where all is not as it seems, which is always the way with all your characters, because you can't just have, your plot. You have to have 75 subplots.
It has to happen to someone.
Yeah, it has to kind of keep on going like that.
Yeah.
And I was talking recently in a book club about some people saying, but how do they keep on? It was specifically about, your people like you and how you come up with these things and, the horrible things that happen. And I suppose the real world is scarier. sometimes when you look at things.
Yeah, I mean, when you're writing a crime novel or a thriller, you can impose an order. So you can have the worst things in the world happen, but you can put everything right if you want at the end. So you are exercising a control over it. And I think it's like, as an antidote, as a writer, it's an antidote to the complete loss of control. Like, we're probably feeling more than ever when we watch the news and, you know, don't say the word tariffs or anything at the moment, but like it's an order that can be imposed on real chaos.
Tell us about the order you're imposing. Are you allowed talking about the streaming? One of your works has been adapted by one of the big streamers. Can we say who it is? Are we allowed to?
Yeah, it's Amazon Prime. Right. We can probably talk for another 30 seconds before a van pulls up outside and bundles me into it.
No, Katy Perry's going to crash through the ceiling in a rocket. Jeff is paying for it.
Oh, Katy Perry does that now, right? Great.
No, so it's been adapted by Amazon.
56 days.
It's 56 days, but there's no pandemic in the show.
Because that's what the book was about. Everyone locked into this one place.
In the show, they have come up with another reason to put them together, and that's all I can say before the van arrives. But it will be on Prime Video early next year.
And it's a TV show.
It's a TV show. I think 8 parts. I've had a little sneak peek at some of it, and I got to visit the set in Montreal.
This is what I wanted to ask you about in terms of control, right?
Oh, I have no control.
Really? But you wrote it. So you wrote these things. You wrote these words, and then you go to a thing that they built based on what you wrote. What's that like?
It was completely insane. It was the most surreal experience of my entire life. It was like finding out that your imaginary friends have come to life, but they've all been hanging out without you for 2 months already. It was so weird. And they built, the main male character is called Oliver. They built Oliver's apartment. And for real, like in my head, I thought a set was like 2 walls and then we pretend the other 2 are there. But they really built his apartments. You could walk from room to room. You could go into his bathroom, turn on his taps. Like it was crazy.
And when they take something, because I know like is Dove Cameron in it and like all these...
And I know who Dove Cameron is now, so that's great.
There we go. She's getting to know.
She's your imaginary friend. She's your real friend.
She is on. There you go.
I was too old and too uncool to realise what a massive star Dove was. And, you know, now in my head, she is Kira. Like, when I think of that character, I think of her because she's amazing in it.
I'm just kind of looking at those incredibly beautiful American people who are in my 56 Days book, where we were all locked up for COVID. When they take something...
Were you not imagining beautiful people?
Of course I was. When they take something like you've done everything, like the last book, The Trap, kind of loosely, The Vanishing Triangle was kind of your inspiration for that. When they take something and they completely change it.
Yeah.
What's that like?
I don't care.
Really?
I'm dead
That's
inside.
interesting.
Yeah,
okay, right. So you just let it go.
I'll take the money and run. These people have been making TV for 20 years. Like, they know what they're doing. And I never met such an incredible gang of, like, dedicated, creative, you know, innovative, energetic people as I met on that set. And I fully trust them to make an amazing TV show. And my attitude is, I know how to write novels, and I do that as best as I can, but I don't know how to translate that story to screen. And there is, like, from what I've seen, there is some lovely little touches in the show. Like, you know, before the van arrives, there is a scene where she's wearing her NASA tote bag, which is in the book. And, like, that was so lovely. But I feel like they gave me those moments at the beginning and then they're like, OK, we're off now on our own.
Placater.
That's just to keep your one happy.
It's going to be so good. Like, I've read all the scripts and all I wanted to be able to say was that if I had nothing to do with this, I would still watch the show. And I can say that. Absolutely.
Brilliant. What are you working on at the moment? You're writing something new?
So I think last Monday, which was a Monday after I should have finished it, I handed in the second draft of the book that will presumably be out next year.
Wow, congrats. Only a week later. That's pretty...
That's really good for me. Really good.
Where is it set, though? What trip?
Dundrum, because
Dundrum.
super lazy, and I live in Dundrum, and I looked out the window, and I was like, sure, look, be grand.
Oh my God,
everyone
in Cork now, can you not have a Cluis in a book so that we'll get that? You've got a Lewis in Dundrum, for God's sake.
That'll be the next one.
That'll be the next one. There was one thing that you, very recently, you were talking about your time as being a professional writer. You were looking back.
Yeah, it was 10 years.
10 years is when you got your first. You're sitting there and, you know, surrounded by if anyone doesn't follow Catherine, she loves Jurassic Park and Lego. It's incredible.
Yep.
It seemed like you were quite over, just so happy, like that you really are appreciative of this life that you have created.
Yeah.
Because it's hard work and you're sitting in a room by yourself.
I am grateful, like, every morning that I get to do my dream job. But coming up to the 10-year anniversary, I was also really aware of like how much it has taken to get to this moment. And a lot of my friends are writers, and there's so many people who do like, you know, 2 or 3 books or 4 books, and then they have to stop because it sounds very funny. People think we're, you know, reclining on a chaise longue all day drinking Prosecco, but like, it's really like when you get that first book deal, the hard work is just beginning.
Yeah.
Like it's actually, people will kill me for saying this, but it's relatively easy to get published compared to how difficult it is to stay published. So I was sort of exhausted when I was writing that.
It seemed incredible.
Well, fair play to you. Huge congrats.
It's so good. It is out now. The book is called Burn After Reading.
I can't believe you didn't mention the victim is on morning TV, but let's just
I didn't!
There you go.
She texted me one day going...
Preach her out again.
She texted me one day going, I've kind of murdered you in the book. Is that
It's
okay?
not you,
It's not you.
It's not you.
It's not you.
Catherine, lovely to meet you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Sure, pleasure.